Hey, mini wargamers. All right, so maybe you're getting a little curious about trying your hands at some tripods, some Martians, and you want to get into All Quiet on the Martian Front, but maybe you don't know, like, what are the forces like? How many models are used? How do you build some of these things? Well, let's answer some of those fundamental basic questions by talking about building Martian forces, building the Germans. We'll do some notes on infantry basing, and then we'll tie a bow on it in the end, all right? Let's get to it by starting with our Martians. The foundation of building Martians is a raider trinary, and that is essentially 3 raiders all together in a unit. That costs 35 points. We also get what's called link power. We get 2 link power for every trinary. And link power are points that we can use to upgrade our tripods to different types of tripods. So we don't just have obviously just take these 3 raiders, we can upgrade them to other things. And tripods typically come with what I kind of colloquially will call a drone slot, but really they have these abilities called controller, and raiders have controller 1, which means they all come with the ability to take 1 group of drones with them, and drones come in, can you guess how many? That's right, 3. So each of those raiders could take 3 drones with them, but you got to pay the drone price for it. All right, so let's give an example of upgrading. How do we do it? So let's say we want to add a slaver. So we look at the slaver unit and it costs us 0 link power cost. Well, that's cool. And it costs us 0 points. Hey, so it's a freebie. We just get to add it to this trinary here for nothing. But it's got controller 3, so it has 3 drone slots. And then if we were to field this out, yes, we pay the cost of the drones. And the drones are attached to that tripod type. Cool, let's do another more exciting example, all right? Let's add an assault tripod to this thing, so one of the big boys. He costs, though, 2 link power, so now our link power is 0, so we've got no more link points left. He also costs an additional 25 points, bringing our game point total to 60 points, and he also comes with 3 drone slots. Cool, you got the idea? All right. So using my first encounter pledge of the models that I receive, I've got 2 raiders and a slaver. So let's build an actual force with this. Let's load out the drone slots. So our trinary is 35. We're adding that slaver. We're going to attach a group of lobotons, another group of lobotons, and some heat ray drones. The theory here being the lobotons will go out and be zombie meat shields for us while we melt face with the heat ray drones and the slaver to back it up, right? Sounds good, sounds good. Okay, then on our left flank, this raider is going to take some raven drones. We're going to do a flanking maneuver. And then on the right flank, we'll have this raider take some bombardier drones. So that big nasty cluster that's happening in the middle, we can maybe do some barrage damage to it. Sounds good. Don't tell our opponent, okay? That's the plan. And all of that total, if you add that up, that is 100 points even, which is the lowest point total for, I think they call it a reconnaissance game in All Quiet on the Martian Front, Return of the Tripods. Excellent. So pretty easy. So now where do you go from here? Well, you build bigger forces, right? And what that entails is just multiple trinaries. So here's an example of that same trinary, only we're, for whatever reasons, Martian reasons, we've got 3 drones attached to the slaver and nothing else. And for our other trinary here, we've got 2 drones attached to the raiders and nothing else, right? Makes sense. Now, I will note there is an attribute called Raider Insight that each of the raiders get. This makes raiders attractive to have in your trinary. So to control your forces as a Martian, each trinary, if it's complete, will generate a command token. You can issue that command token to one of the tripods in your trinary, or a different trinary, I suppose. And Raider Insight says that if my trinary has been issued an order, a command, my raiders activate also. So in both these trinaries, I would issue an order to the slaver and an order to the assault tripod, and my raiders would activate for free. Now, in the case of Trinary 1, I activate my slaver, and my drones attached to the slaver also activate with that. And then my raiders, due to Raider Insight, are going to activate. So that whole Trinary is going to move. Same sort of deal over on Trinary 2. I issue it to my assault, which means both of my raiders activate. And because the raiders each have a drone attached to them, those drones in turn activate. Cool, eh? And that's basics of command and control there, and kind of keeping your tri-link network. You have to keep some coherency rules so that your Martian mind meld can all happen and everything can work, right? So some distances matter here. Note too, drones are on 50mm safety bases on circles, okay, 50mm circles, and tripods right now are freestanding, they're baseless. All right, now you know pretty much all the core Martian building and control rules. There you go. Let's talk Germans. All right, the basis of a German army is what we call a line infantry company, and it is composed of 2 core elements. The first core element being a command platoon, which is just 1 stand of command guys, and then an infantry platoon, which is a an element of command guys, followed by these 3 squads of troops. It costs 40 points, and you get 11 command points with that. And each of these things can have various attachments, upgrades to it, and other platoon options with them. All right, let's just talk infantry bases right now since we've got enough of them on the screen. So generally, All Quiet on the Martian Front wants you to put 4 or more figures to a base. There's kind of roughly 3 general flavors of infantry bases. There's that command, there's rifle bases, and then there are weapons teams. All right, so here you can see command at the top, followed by, from left to right, 2 rifle, and then a weapons team. So that 3 units there, 3 elements, makes up a squad of 2 rifle and 1 weapon team. And there it is, looking a little bit closer, where you can see the command group has 4 guys, some with binoculars, so they're keeping an eye on things, order things. Then we have our rifle bases, which just have shooty boys. And then we have our weapons teams, which these guys have high explosive rockets, like RPG type things. Cool. So I would say in general, you want to model each of those things for visual distinction so that you can keep track of them and what they look like. So again, this is what that weapon team looks like, but I didn't know this when I built my infantry, so I built that. Oops. But I actually kind of love it, right? It looks really great. Yeah, it doesn't have 4 to a base, but like an All Quiet on the Martian Front player's not gonna, throw their shoe at you or get super angry or whatever. They're still gonna play with you. The unfortunate part is I only got 6 of these rocket guys, which means that only gives me 2 bases. So I'm gonna have to purchase a few more to complete my force. That's okay. What I would recommend doing as you build out your infantry of Germans, if you've got them, build your support weapons in pairs and put them on bases of at least 4 guys. So 2 rocket boys and 2 rifle boys, and that should be good. You could throw in a 3rd rifle boy if you want. Another consideration is when weapons teams die, typically what's going to happen is you're going to have you should probably have other troops in close coherency. So like say in that squad of 2 rifle and 1 weapon, say your weapon team died, well, the other rifle element might be close enough, and if it is, it will just pick up the weapons and use them, which means you will switch the base types. Suddenly your rifle boys will become rocket propelled grenade boys, or I believe the other flavor of weapon, support weapon, is a flamethrower. And if you've based them like I have, it kind of looks like your troops shrink. So probably keeping them to 4 more is probably better. Again, the figures are 15mm, and they are really like 15mm to eye level, and they are very true scale, as you can tell here. Tapering arms and legs, true-ish proportions. These are not Like maybe you might be familiar with older style 15 millimeter metals and things like that, which tend to have chunkier features. And infantry bases are 30 by 50 millimeters. All right. What about Flames of War on Teeny Yankee as proxies? Heck yes, you can do that. So if you wanted to use some of the models that you have as a force and then just buy into some tripods to get going, it's a very smart way of going about it. All right. So let's talk about upgrading a line infantry company. So here is our bare bones company. You would not just take this, it'd be very ineffective, but there are so many options and rules. You've really got to consult some charts and tables, which they've made much better in the rule book. Command platoon and infantry platoon shown here actually have different upgrade options. Okay, there's different paths and things that you can do with them. You can also add whole additional platoon types to beef out your company. So how best to really illustrate this? I can't go verbosely through all the different options you got. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna build out 100 points of what my first encounter pledge level will allow me to do. There's actually quite a different amount of 100-point forces I could build, but here's one I came up with. So my command platoon, I get that field commander, he's on screen there, he's included for free in my 40 points. But I'm going to upgrade him to be a veteran, which gives me an additional command point for 3 points. I'm also going to add a command staff unit. So there's the first additional element going down. Yes, that is another command style base going down for 5 points. I'm also going to give them a ride, an A7V command transport for 5 points. That's pretty hot. And then we're going to add an FK-17 gun battery for 12 points. I'm going to upgrade that to Martian Tech to be Heat Rays for an additional 5 points, and that comes with 1 command token. So those 3 guns go down as well. Excellent. We're going to move over to upgrading the infantry platoon. We have that command element at top. 3 squads of infantry are included, so all of that's for free for our first 40 points. We're going to add an A7V command transport for 5 points as well for that commander. So now our command elements are kind of leading from the side, from the rear. I don't know. They've got some better punch power to take down some tripods there. And they're riding in style, so that's great. That's all I'm going to do to that infantry platoon, though, right there. But what I am going to add is a Sturmpanzerwagen platoon for 25 points and 2 command tokens. We're going to get the sweet Overschließen tanks with cannon. Yeah. So if you total all that up, all those points, that is 100 points even, and our command points get bumped all the way up to 15. Very cool. So there's a good beginning German force. So you can see how that builds off of those 2 base elements, and then you're just bolting on either additions to the command, the command and infantry platoons, which is the base of your company, or you're adding full additional platoons to it. Right on. So let's wrap it up. So in Return of the Tripods, there are some typical game point values, and I'll just clipped out of the rule book here so you can get a sense. I built those 100-point forces, which I think are great, but they are kind of restrictive or small. I think 150 to 200 points is probably where most games are going to be at. I'm going to try dreaming up some 150 and 200 point lists. I find the constraints, the way the armies build, there's all that theme and flavor of the tri-link points and the trinary, and then we're actually building in squads and platoons with command elements for the Germans. It's very flavorful, really cool. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And hey, if you spot anything out there, All Quiet on the Martian Front players, you have corrections for me, please let me know. Hit me up in the comments or find me over on the Discord. Let me know what I got wrong. I will pin it to the top of the comments here if there is anything. I think it's pretty tight, because huge thank yous go to Abnormal Media and the All Quiet on the Martian Front community, who's been chatting with me a lot in Discord to kind of iron out some bumps. And speaking of which, if you haven't done it yet, y'all should come over to the Discord with us and hang out and chat. There's some good hobby pictures there, and we're all just learning and having fun with All Quiet on the Martian Front, Return of the Tripods. And thank you very much. I'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.